the Insurance Marketing Club. And for those of you that purchased my new book, Shift, during the launch, thank you. I appreciate that. For those of you that haven't, you can grab a copy of my new #1 bestseller at theshiftnation.org. Already it's creating quite a buzz in the industry, and I can see by some of the names that are on the webinar today, many of you are already readers and proud members of Shift Nation. So I want to especially welcome those of you that are members of Shift Nation because you own the book, and also those of you that have joined us as part of the Insurance Marketing Club. Now, my special guest today is somebody that has a game-changing approach on how to get referrals from CPAs and attorneys. Now, if there's one thing that's existed in this industry for probably since the time it started, is the same game of getting referrals. And it's probably the #1 go-to method that most advisors use today and insurance agents use in order to get quality introductions. If I were to poll most of you on the webinar today, you'd probably say that you have an 80% plus chance or greater of closing somebody that is a referral. On that. But I brought Seth on today because 6 months ago we embarked on implementing a few case studies. Some of you may have been on the call with Seth 6 months ago when we had him on, and a few of you stepped up in order to invest in a process that Seth is going to actually give you today for free on how to do it yourself. And if you want to work with him, of course, you can do that. But it's so amazing when you go back and you look at the results that people are getting who took action. And so I invited Seth back today to share some of those case studies on how CPAs and attorneys are actually paying advisors in order to give them referrals. I mean, it's quite a 180 when you look at the way on how to do it. Now, before I invite Seth on, I just want to tell you a little bit about him because it's important you know where Seth comes from in terms of his knowledge and expertise. As you know, I spend a lot of time in the industry networking, researching inside and outside of our space to bring you the top quality speakers that actually will deliver results for you and give you game-changing strategies. So I'm really glad and grateful that you joined me today. Seth is a nationally recognized direct response marketing expert for financial advisors and agents. He is the author of 7 best-selling marketing books, and his latest book, Market Domination for Podcasting, is on the shelves at Barnes & Noble's right now. He's also the co-host of the Sharkpreneur podcast. You may recognize Kevin Harrington, one of the original sharks from Shark Tank. Well, Seth actually co-hosts the podcast with Kevin Harrington. Seth has been written about in Registered Rep Magazine, Insurance Newsnet, Horse's Mouth, and is a regular contributor to Life Health Pro and Think Advisor. He's also been featured on Inc. Magazine, CBS Money Watch, CBS News, the LA Times, the Boston Globe, Miami Herald, the #1 morning show in New York City. He is also a client of mine, a member of my high-end mastermind. Seth, it is such an honor to have you, my friend. I know you always deliver incredible value. Thanks for coming on the call today.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. It is an honor to be back serving your advisors and insurance agents again. I'm really excited to share with them the results we've gotten since last time.
Awesome. So let's get started. Let's talk about this, Seth, how to finally get the referrals that I know our hardworking advisors deserve from the golden referral source, the CPAs and attorney category.
Absolutely. And before we dive into that, I'm going to start off with, I'm going to break every rule in marketing. And they say that what other people say about you is 300% more effective than anything you could say about yourself, which is why testimonials and referrals and warm introductions are so important. This is David Braun, somebody who took action on the last webinar, and he says, negative, your process wasn't what I expected. I'm not sure what I expected. It took a lot longer than I thought. However, you got me in front of CPAs and attorneys I otherwise never could have met. I have gotten referrals and business from them, and my book isn't even out yet. I am very happy with my results so far. I'm excited to get more as we finish my book this month. Thank you. And that's from David Braun, who's now the author of Navigating Life's Transitions, Making the Right Decisions to Secure Your Financial Future. And the beauty of that is he just approved the final proof of his, third proof, went through a couple edits, final edits of his book literally yesterday. So he is doing his book launch right now, and he's super excited to get even more referrals and more business from it. This is Lori Ellis McLeod, who we're going to talk about, who is going after business owners or her ideal client. So she wrote a book, Make Smart Choices with Your Madison Business, and she just had her book launch party a couple weeks ago. This is a picture of some of the people in the book. She literally had over 30 new people come to her book launch party. You can see this is one of her swag tables where she was giving away swag bags with copies, autographed copies of her book, along with lots of other stuff. I mean, when was the last time you had 30 warm referral introductions come to one event? You know, if you're doing seminars and you have some of your clients come to sit next to the prospects, I mean, heck, 30 people in a room is a decent turnout, depending on how many seminar invitations or Facebook ads you ran. But to have 30 referrals in a room is absolutely incredible. This is Carmine Party from my own backyard, who wrote How Western New Yorkers Can Navigate the Financial Challenges of Life Transition, Conversations with Local Experts. So we're going to get into what they're doing that created those books and that referral program. Before we do, I have one quick question. Just want to make sure I want to tailor today's content to everybody in the room. We're going to do a quick poll. Please answer if you are a financial advisor, an insurance agent, an RIA, or some hybrid combination of the top three. I'm going to leave it open for about 10 more seconds. Yep, people are answering. Awesome. 3, 2, 1. Okay, awesome. Looks like 63% of you are insurance agents, 25% of you are a hybrid combination. Great. So this will be right up your alley. Let's dive right in. Okay, so who this is for. If you are a financial advisor, if you are an insurance agent, or some hybrid combination. It is also, okay, Nathan says he's an insurance agent. Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Nathan. It is also, you also have to have 30 minutes a week. So that's how much time this takes. We do have agents and advisors who are doing all of their work for this project once a month on one day and doing it in 2 hours a day, 2 hours one day a month, or you could do 30 minutes a week. And you've also got to be coachable, because if you think you've seen everything before, if you think you've done everything before, then this obviously isn't going to be work for you. You've got to be open to testing something new. So it's for you if, as an advisor or insurance agent, you're frustrated, if you're fed up with being one of the best kept secrets in your area, in your town, in your city. So if you get a prospect in front of you, you have a really high chance of converting them into a client. If you get a referral, you have an even better chance. And then if you get a referral from a CPA or an attorney, that should almost be pretty much a layup. So this process will allow you to get your foot in the door with literally just about anybody. It doesn't matter if they're on, the front page of the business section of your city's newspaper. We've had advisors use this who got in front of Inc. 500 CEOs, Fortune 500 CEOs, the heads of the biggest law firms and accounting firms in their town. It doesn't matter. This is a complete flip the script way to get people, those high-profile A-level referral sources, chasing you as opposed to you chasing them. Now, just before we dive in, I want to make sure, please close any other window browsers I know you've got open. Sign out of Facebook. Bill, Chris, Cody, Darren, close those other windows. I know you're multitasking. And if you pay full attention, if you play full out, you'll get better results. And if you take notes, you'll do even better. Thanks, I appreciate that. Now, I started out as a financial advisor with A.G. Edwards back when they still used to exist, before they got bought out by Wachovia, and then Wachovia got bought out by Wells Fargo. I was there about 20 years ago. And my first day of training, my branch, after passing my 7, my branch manager literally handed me the phone book and said, "They're all in there, Tiger, go get them." And I didn't know any better, so I made 300 cold calls a day, interrupting strangers, asking them for money. Until I had the good fortune to find Dan Kennedy, legendary marketing guru Dan Kennedy. This is my wonderful wife, Rebecca, who we've been married 12 years. And thankfully, after 30 days in a row of me begging her to let me to go borrow the money which was more than our mortgage at the time, to go hire Dan Kennedy. She said yes, and said, you better pray this works. So I got to go work personally with Dan, and I went from, at A.G. Edwards, there were 6,700 reps when I was there, and I was the 6,699th. So what that means is I was one up from the bottom. I started at you couldn't get any lower. You could get one place lower than me, but that's about it. And within 2 years of working with Dan, I was in the top 30 nationwide for opening a new account, which is obviously a huge shift. I was competing against, I was 22. I was competing against advisors who had been building books longer than I had even been alive and were at the peaks of their careers, and I was at the beginning. So it got me written about, as you mentioned, Jeremiah. It got me written about in Insurance News Net and Registered Draft and Horses, and of course now a bunch of other places. And my phone started ringing off the hook with financial advisors saying, how do I do what you did? I'm an insurance agent. How do I do that? So along the way, I wrote some books, because Dan says one of the best ways to become an authority in your marketplace is to write a book. I got to update the pictures. I've written 7: Financial Advisor Marketing Magic, Real Estate Marketing Magic, Online Marketing Magic, Cutting Edge Marketing Magic, The Facebook Ninja, Secrets of Top Producing Financial Advisors, and then Market Domination for Podcasting, which is a bucket list for me because it's on the shelf at Barnes & Noble now. You can actually go physically buy it in the store. As you mentioned, I've also been on MSNBC, CNBC, Barron's, Fox, the alphabet soup of media. So my phone started ringing with all the industry attention, with advisors saying, how do I do that? Insurance agents saying, how do I make it happen the way you did? So I started Market Domination LLC, which is the marketing firm that you're here for today, and that was 10 years ago. And we started helping financial advisors and insurance agents do exactly what we did. This is my wonderful wife, Rebecca, and our 3 kids. Max is 10, Ella is the 8-year-old girl, and Lily is the 4-year-old. And I'm going to talk later about how this process has enabled me to be so much a better husband and father, and why that is. Now, I'm about to share with you exactly how to do it, how our 10-step process works. The first question I get from every advisor is, will my compliance department let me do this? And the answer is absolutely yes. We have advisors at major wirehouses like Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch who've gotten it approved. We have independent advisors at places like LPL and Next who've gotten it approved. And we have advisors and insurance agents who are completely independent, whether they're RIA or not, who've gotten it approved, because all of the content is static. It's a book manuscript. It's a book, and they can approve the manuscript before it gets published. So relatively simple to get approved. Now, I hear from all the time advisors tell me that CPAs and attorneys don't refer. They just don't. My first one, after giving me the phone book, my manager came in a week later and said, here's a bunch of orphan accounts. They don't have advisors anymore. Go get them. Assign them to you and go do a review for them and sell some new policies and write some new business. And then once you've done that, ask them who their accountant and who their lawyer is. Call them up. Say you've got a client in common. Offer to take them out to breakfast, lunch, or coffee and talk about your business, which I tried. And I won't even tell you how many hours I wasted, how much coffee I drank to the point where I don't drink coffee anymore, and how many pounds I gained and how much money I wasted taking them all to breakfast or lunch and getting nowhere. Because if you look to a CPA or an attorney, we all look the same. Every advisor, every insurance agent all looks the same. And we all want to talk about ourselves, right? Let me tell you about me, and why you should give me referrals, which doesn't work, because why would the CPA or the attorney stick their neck out for us, even if they actually have a relationship with us? It's got to be what's in it for them. Everybody's favorite radio station, right? You've got to make the CPA or attorney feel special, and that by referring to you, they're going to get something from you that nobody else can give them. And it can't be, I'll send you referrals back, because any advisor can do that. And we're going to show you how this process makes you completely different. I just want to take I got one other quick question, because we're here to talk about how many referrals from CPAs and attorneys. Real quick, how many referrals from CPAs and attorneys did you get in the last month? 0 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, or more than 5? I'll leave it open for another 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 86% of you said 0 to 1, which is why you're here, right? So let's go through the process of how you finally get the referrals you deserve from CPAs and attorneys. These are the 10 steps, and if you hadn't started taking notes, now would be the time. Awesome. All right, the first one is you want to build your list, because you don't want to interview. What you're going to do is you're going to write a book, but you're going to write it without writing it, as you saw some of our agents and advisors doing earlier. You're going to interview the CPAs and attorneys for your book, and then when your book is published, you're going to have a book launch party, and we're going to talk about what else you're going to do after the party, so that those CPAs and attorneys are literally handing your book out every single month to their clients and their prospects, and because it makes them look good. It makes them feel special because they're in your book. So they're promoting themselves. It's an ego strip. They are promoting themselves to their clients and saying, look at me, look how fabulous I am. And it just so happens that it's your book, you're on the cover, you're the one who wrote it, you're the one who's got the most information in that book, so that those clients and prospects of the CPAs and attorneys say, wow, that makes a lot of sense. I should go get a second opinion from Chris. I should go get a second opinion from Aaron. So if that makes sense to you, if you see how that could generate referrals for you, please type "I'm in" the chat box, or type in "I'm in" so that I know that you're with me. Awesome. All right. Way to go, Chris. Way to go, Scott. All right. Yeah, keep typing "I'm in" so I know that you're with me. So the first step in the 10-step process, Aaron, is to build your list. You have to make the list of what CPAs and what attorneys you would want to interview. Now, Lori, who did business owners, her book has more than CPAs and attorneys in it. She's got commercial mortgage brokers. She's got commercial real estate agents. She's got other folks. She's got payroll people. She's got other people who see the affluent business owner besides just CPA and attorney. So step one is identify who you want referrals from. Step two is you've got to market to them to get them to say yes to the interview. Now think about it. If you're an author, does an author call the subject and talk to the gatekeeper and then say, hey, want to be in my book? Absolutely not. Doing that would hurt your credibility, because you're a financial expert and you're writing a book on insurance, or you're writing a book on divorce, or whatever topic we're talking about here, and we'll give you examples in just a minute. If you are busy running a successful practice and writing a book, you shouldn't have time to call all these people and say, hey, do you want to be in my book? So we've got a multi-step, multimedia direct response marketing campaign that goes to them, that gets them to call you and say, yes, I would like to be in your book. They're literally chasing you, saying, will you please include me? Which, again, changes the dynamic. Then you're going to interview them and record it. Now, it's really simple. I get questions on the technology all of the time. You don't need much. So you can use the voice memo app on your iPhone or your Android if you are interviewing them in person, or you could buy a voice recorder for $20 from Staples. Carmine Party, whose book you saw, Carmine's a little older, and said, I can't figure out how to get the file from the voice recorder to my computer. So his office is a block away from mine. He said, I'm literally just going to walk the voice recorder over to you every week, and you can cut and paste the file off. I have another advisor out in Phoenix, Arizona, who's in his late 70s, and he couldn't figure out how to use Dropbox, and he literally just he puts the file onto a CD and FedExes CDs to me every week. So it doesn't matter how you record it, and it doesn't matter how you get it here, or how you get it wherever you're getting it. The interview then needs to get transcribed, and what that means is someone listens to the interview and types word for word every single thing that was said. And then, of course, you've got to edit it, because the way people talk is not the way we read. You need to take out the likes and the ums and the you-knows. You need to edit the run-on sentences, and you need to make it look like a book. And I'll put my webcam on in a little bit and show you physical examples of all of these books. Then you need graphic design, because it needs to look like a book. This isn't a e-book. This is a physical, like bookstore length, bookstore looking book, the kind you'd find in the personal finance section of Barnes & Noble. So you need to get a designer to do the front cover, the back cover, the spine, and the layout, so it looks like a real book, because books have perceived value, and that's exactly what we want. You've also got to do the layout again so it looks professional. Step 7 is the book has to get published. We publish 3 places. We recommend publishing on Kindle as an ebook so that people can download it on their devices. And because there's part of the secret sauce of the book launch campaign involves Kindle, then it's physically published on Amazon so people can buy it on Amazon, and Amazon will ship it to their door. And then we would also recommend you have a PDF file of the book that you can email to people and give away at the website. And then it physically gets printed because, again, this looks like a book, and you want your CPAs and attorneys handing out copies of the book to their prospects and clients, which is what makes this thing work so well. Then you want to have a book launch party. You saw a picture of Lori's. I didn't show you all of the pictures. Lori had a jazz quartet playing at her party. She had her company logo carved as a fruit sculpture. She had a photographer and a videographer. She had a really nice party, and it worked really, really well. You don't have to spend as much as she did. We've had advisors who just did hors d'oeuvres, no quartet, no fruit logo. But the idea is all of the CPAs and attorneys in the book come to the party. People take pictures of everybody signing books, getting their autographs, getting pictures, holding up the book. And then the CPAs and attorneys bring their spouses, they bring their business partners, and they bring guests. Because wouldn't you want to bring your clients to a party where you're in a book and you're signing books? Wouldn't that make you look great? Absolutely. You would absolutely want to do that. Why would you want to do that? So this is a quick question. Type in the chat box. If you're a CPA or an attorney, why would a CPA or attorney bring their prospects or clients to the book launch party? So just go ahead and type in your answer in the chat box. Ego stroke, yes. Makes them look good, yes. Gives them credibility. Chris, you're absolutely right. Yep. Credibility from Marshall. Yep, you guys are absolutely marketing. Chris Harold, yeah, you're absolutely right. Shows them they have resources. Aaron, you're absolutely right. After we launch the book in the book party, we then launch the book on Amazon. And our goal, again, you're not going to be a New York Times bestseller. That's not the goal of this. But our goal is to, over a short period of a few days, push the book up as high as we can in its category so that you can say, look, not only has it been on Amazon, but here's whatever rank it got to. So maybe that's 10, maybe that's 300, whatever it is. Obviously, if it's 2,402nd, we're not going to report that. We're just going to say as seen on Amazon. But you're now an Amazon published author. And we get all the CPAs and attorneys to post on social media and email their clients and prospects and say, go get a copy of this book, which again sets up another chain of referrals. And then step 10 after the book launch party and the Amazon launch is we have a monthly networking group. So have any of you been in networking groups before, like BNI or a tip club or something? Just type in what group you were in the chat box. I've been in BNI. Yep, Chris has been in BNI. I was in BNI, and the Chamber of Commerce, says Tricia, absolutely right. Network, says Aaron. So imagine a BNI chapter, but you're the host of it. You're the chapter, and you get, and the only people in the room are the CPAs and attorneys in the book. And again, you can run it just like BNI. Every week somebody gets 10 minutes, and we pass referrals back and forth, and you could follow the same format. But you're the only advisor in the room, and you're the host of the group. So where are all those referrals for advisors going to go? They're going to come to you. And it's a great way to stay in front of the CPAs and attorneys, great way to increase that relationship, and great way to remind them to buy more copies every single month because they're seeing new prospects every month just like you are. So we want them to be constantly buying books from you, not because we're trying to make money selling books. We actually want to give it to them at cost. We actually want to specifically not make any money selling the book because we want them to buy as many copies as they can afford so they'll give out more. I would rather have them buy 500 copies at $3, and I'd then buy them 100 copies at a higher price. Tricia has a question. Can you have more than one attorney CPA? You absolutely should have more than one attorney CPA. So, for example, if you had, let's say it took 10 interviews to make a book, and it depends on how chatty they are as to how long the book will be. We've had some advisors who interviewed 10. We've had some advisors where the CPAs and attorneys were really short in their answers, so it took 15 or 20. So one CPA and one attorney isn't going to fill a book. It'd be a really short book. The point of this, and I'm going to show you near the end, I'll flip on my webcam and show you physical copies of the book. It's 150 to 250 pages. It's a real book. This isn't like a 20-page pamphlet. Aaron, great question. Can I give the book out for free? We want, absolutely. So if you wanted to buy copies for the CPA or attorney and say, here's 50 copies, give them away, obviously they're going to be more indebted to you if you paid for the copies than if you made them pay. We've never had an issue. It's just a question of your budget. So we've never had a CPA say, no, I don't want to tell anyone I was in a book. I'm going to throw it out. They wouldn't do that, right? They want their ego stroked. They want, because nobody, if you think about it, who is, Bert, I'll get your question in just a second. If you're a CPA, does your spouse think that's sexy? If you go to a cocktail party and say you're an accountant or you're an estate lawyer, does anybody really think, oh my God, I got to talk to that guy? Unless you're having a tax issue or an estate issue, they think it's boring. Most people think that's boring. And they don't have, oh, I got a list of 15 fascinating questions about being an estate planning attorney. You're finally recognizing them for their talent. You're finally saying you're important. So to them, you're like their new best friend. Someone has finally said, I understand you, I get you, I appreciate what you do, and I want to learn more. So one of the issues we've had is our advisors can't get them to shut up, which is exactly what you want for an interview. Bert wants to know, hang on a second, I'm trying to field questions. Bert says, what information are we gathering from the CPAs during the interview for the book? We've got an interview script for you to follow. So we've coordinated hundreds and hundreds of interviews. We figured out what questions get CPAs and attorneys talking and what ones give one-word answers. So I'll give away, if you remind me at the end, I'll give away some of those questions for you. Joseph, what kinds of questions will you ask? Again, we're going to talk about that. Would you mix CPAs or attorneys? Yes, you would mix them. You would not have two books. There wouldn't be enough. I've done some without an interview, and I'm on Amazon and use CreateSpace to write. Yep, you can absolutely publish with CreateSpace. We publish with CreateSpace. However, the difference is that you're publishing. We have a publishing company, so it's not saying self-publish on Amazon anymore. You're under our publishing umbrella, so it looks like, quote unquote, a real publishing company has published you, which they have. Okay, so the summary of the 10 steps: interview your ideal referral sources, turn it into a book, market the book, and then stay in front of them. Jeremiah mentioned that you can get it done for you, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But is it worth it? I mean, let's think about this. On average, it's taking our advisors from start to finish about 6 months, from the day they either start the process themselves or engage us to the book launch party. Joseph says, this is great, thanks. Thank you, taking notes. Awesome, Joe, thank you so much. Cal, I assume you have people to do all the graphics publishing techniques, and yes, of course we do. Again, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But less than 6 months, you're a published author. You've got 10 to 15 to 20 CPAs and attorneys now who love you, who you're meeting with every single month, who are handing out your book, who are telling their clients about the book and about you. Totally changes the game. So I think it's worth it, but I'm biased. So this is me with our kids. Every year we go to Jellystone Resort. This is us fishing. And again, we rent the best cabin, the best, biggest cabin they've got. And we invite lots of our friends who aren't in a position to do that to come visit with us and hang out with us like for the day and buy day passes. And it's because of this that we're able to do this. This is Max going to travel soccer. I have coached the last 24 seasons of soccer. I've been at every practice, every game because of this. This is Ella. She's into theater. This is her playing Annie in Annie. She was the star of the show. And I've been to every theater practice and every show. And it was because I don't have to worry about where my next client or my next referral is coming from. I know, on average, how many referrals we're getting and how many new prospects we're getting every single month. So again, this is David Braun's book, Navigating Life's Transition. This is Lori's. We're going to show a whole bunch more in just a minute. I mean, think about it. You become a published author. You do a book signing, book launch party. What is the approximate hard cost to put the entire package together, Mally? Mally, we're getting there. Stay with me. We're a few slides away. Again, this is one of Lori's swag tables. She actually needed like 3 or 4 of them because there were so many people there. Our regular price for this, to get all those 10 steps completely done for you, is $2,000 a month. But you're not going to pay that because Jeremiah twisted my arm and said, you got to give my people the best deal you've ever absolutely offered. which we'll get to in just a second. But let me ask you, $2,000 a month, 6 months, if it was $12,000, would it be worth it? Because we have people pay that, and they absolutely love it. We had an accountant who did the book, and he was in month 5. His book wasn't done yet, and he called and said, hey, guess what? I already got a client from this that paid back all the costs, all 12 grand. I'm profitable, and I'm not even done. And then the next month when we did the book launch, he sent copies of the book to to the top journal in accounting. And they said, this is great. Will you write a regular column for us every single month? So he's now writing a column for like Accounting Magazine or whatever the name of it is, which puts him in front of so many people. And he said, oh my God, I would have paid 12 grand just to get to write a column for it. But obviously you're not going to pay that. Bert, how do we initiate the conversation with the CPA attorneys to pique interest for the interview in the book? Bert, we're going to do it for you. As my mentor and one of my coaches, Tony Robbins, says, if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always gotten, which means you got to do something different. And I think this definitely qualifies as different, especially because we make it easy for you. We will do all the work. Now, there's two big reasons why people don't do this. One, procrastination. They're going to do it tomorrow. They're thinking about it, right? We've all been to webinars or seminars like this or in-person workshops. I'm guilty of it too, where I got a list of ideas and like, this is great. And then a week later, life got in the way. The kid got sick. I had a client die. I'm like, oh, crap, I completely forgot to do any of that. I was at a conference in April. I have my list of implementation items from it. I've gotten half of them done, but I still haven't gotten to the other half because stuff got in the way. So I'm going to do my best to eliminate procrastination for you. And then there's the money. And I'm going to do my best to give you the best deal ever and eliminate any monetary concerns. So to eliminate your procrastination, I'm going to give you a 24-hour deadline. So on our discount, on the Jeremiah discount, will expire 24 hours from now. So it is Wednesday. It is 12:30. This was scheduled to go till 1 p.m. Eastern. So Thursday at 1 p.m. it will go. If you go to the page, the price will be our normal price of $2,000 a month. And we're going to do all 10 steps for you. We're going to do the research. We're going to do an onboarding call with you and your account rep here and talk about what's the concept for the book, who's your ideal referral source, and we'll go out and do all the research, which you'll approve and find the CPAs or attorneys are the right professionals for you to interview. You'll approve that list, and then we'll do the multi-step, multimedia marketing campaign that gets them to say, yeah, Bert, I want to be in your book. How do I set up an interview? We'll teach you how to conduct the interview. We'll write the script for you, and then you'll record it. You'll get the file to us. We'll transcribe the interviews for you and edit them. Then we'll do the graphic design, layout, and publishing of the book. We'll plan your book launch party with you. We'll plan your Amazon book launch with you. And then if you stick around after the first 6 months are over and the book is out, we will coordinate. If you want to stay with us, we'll do the monthly group every month for you. I mean, obviously I can't fly out and conduct it for you, but we'll provide you content. We'll teach you what to do every single month. So again, the regular price is $2,000 a month. Would it be worth it? For $12,000, how many clients do you have to get to make back your $12,000? Well, we got a lot of insurance agents and hybrids on, a lot of insurance agents on the call. If you sell a $100,000, $200,000 variable annuity, depending on the option you take, that may be 10 grand in commission right there. So you sell 2 or 3 annuities and you've made all your money back. Obviously, our goal is to sell you a whole lot more than 2 or 3 annuities. I want you getting regular referrals from these CPAs and attorneys every single month, and I want this to be the #1 source of new referrals and new leads in your practice. So the special deal is 50% off. It's $1,000 a month every month with a 6-month minimum. At the end of 6 months, assuming the book is out and you're done, you can then quit and cancel, or you can keep going with us, and then we'll do the book launch for you. We'll do the book group every single month for you, plus some other really cool stuff that we can't even get into here. Where you're going to go to get this is marketdominationllc.com/Jeremiah. That means you have to be able to spell Jeremiah. This is what the page is going to look like. You're going to see a video of me saying, awesome, let's get started. I got a special bonus for you. If your compliance department will let you, we will take the audio file from that interview and we'll also air it as a podcast on iTunes. And then what that means is every week when we're airing an episode, your CPAs and attorneys are going to email and Facebook and LinkedIn post that they were on your show. You've got your own little radio show on iTunes. So then their clients get exposed to it all over again. So this is a way to get referrals and business before the book is even out, because every week you're doing an interview, we can turn it into a podcast and air it. That is a bonus. It doesn't cost any extra. And if your compliance department says no, that's fine. We just won't do it. But if they do, not only do you get a book, you also get a podcast too. Now, obviously, to do all 12 of those steps, there's a lot of manual labor. 10 of those steps, there's a lot of manual labor. We had 2 new clients sign up yesterday, so we've only got room for 8 more. So we can only do this 8 more times before I have to hire and train another staff member. So we've only got 8 slots available. There were over 130 advisors and insurance agents registered for this webinar. A whole lot of people obviously are going to have to wait another 6 months for next time or until we hire somebody. It's first come, first served. Now, a couple issues to get out of the way before I flip my webcam on, take more questions, and show you physical copies of the book. One is compliance. As I mentioned, we've never had anybody have it vetoed by compliance, so your compliance safe. Number 2, why is there a 24-hour deadline? The reason is we used to leave it open. We used to let it go for a week or 2, and then no one did it. It was mind-boggling. They would ask great questions on the webinar. They would say it was awesome. They would say they loved it and they wanted to do it, and then a week would go by and they wouldn't take any action. Because, again, you forget, life gets in the way, you forget to come back to it, something else requires your attention, and you just don't do it. I'm guilty of the same thing. So that's why there's a deadline. Once we put a deadline on it, people who wanted it actually enrolled and got great results. You saw David and Lori, and we're going to show you examples in just a minute of a whole bunch of others, and it all happened. They all signed up since there was a deadline. So that's why there's a deadline on the discount offer. You can buy it afterwards. It'll just cost you twice as much. Is it area exclusive? Yes, that is another issue. I can't have 10 advisors running around, insurance agents running around Buffalo trying to do the same thing. I don't want you competing against each other. I don't want the same CPA getting hit 10 times or the same attorney. So if it turns out that you sign up today and your city is taken, I'll just immediately cancel you and refund your money. So if you're in like LA, I could probably have 5 advisors or more running around LA, and none of them would ever cost 10. But if you're in a smaller city or smaller town, I might only be able to reasonably serve 1 or 2. So again, if your city's taken and there's no room for another advisor, we'll cancel you right away. Second thing, if you're in a really small town, this won't work. We've tried a couple times and failed. So if you got 10,000 people in your town, it's not going to happen. There's no point. We've had there's times when it doesn't work. We're not perfect. We don't have a perfect track record. We had one where the advisor, we got them 12 interviews. They did the first one and then stopped. And despite repeated emails, phone calls, and letters, they just dropped off the planet. We couldn't get them to do the other 11 interviews. Needless to say, there's no book. Another time, we had an advisor, the town was too small. Again, I ended up refunding their money. We tried valiantly and then realized small towns don't work. And so you got to actually do the interviews, and there got to be enough CPAs and attorneys in your town. So I'm going to turn my webcam on and share with you examples of some more books. Okay, let me adjust this here. All right, in the chat box, type yes if you can see me. Sean says, what is considered small? Can't you expand to county? You could. It depends if, okay, everybody's saying yes. Okay, awesome. Yeah, it would depend on how big your county was. So, for example, Erie County, if I go to Erie County as opposed to Buffalo, where I live, in Erie County, there's like 6,438 members of the Erie County Bar Association. So when Carmine came to me and said, I want to do this too, I'm down the street from you, are you okay with that? I said, Buffalo's got 1 million or 2 million people. There's 6,000 lawyers, and they're not all the right type of lawyer, but yeah, sure, we can do it. If he had been in Fort Collins, Colorado, I would have said no. That was the city we failed at. We just couldn't get enough. And they also had a weird mindset. I don't know what's up with Fort Collins, but in Fort Collins, I literally got on the phone and called CPAs and attorneys because I couldn't believe everybody said no that we reached out to. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to learn for next time. why wouldn't you do this? And people were like, I don't want any more business. Another guy said, another lawyer, I like to fly under the radar. Seriously? So, if you're in Fort Collins, don't bother. All right, so let me show you some books. All right, this is Don Turnbull. He's in Pickering, Ontario, our friend in Canada. Let me put the phone like this. So, again, this is what it looks like. It looks like a book. It looks like an interview book, except the chapters that we interview we interview you to write the chapter about you, and we write the introduction, the foreword, the conclusion, and all the regular book stuff. So those look like a regular chapter as opposed to an interview. Let's see here. This is Carmine's. Again, it has a barcode. It's a real ISBN number. These are real books. Here's a question. Can we get a hardcover book? Yeah, we don't make any money selling books. You pay our printing cost, and the more you buy, the cheaper it gets, which is why we coordinate the CPAs and attorneys to all buy together. So rather than 10 purchases of 100, if you get one purchase of 1,000 books, it gets a whole lot cheaper. So if you want to pay extra per book, and I don't know off the top of my head what it is, to get hardcover, you can. My book is hardcover. See, hardcover, dust jacket. So yes, you can have hardcover if you want it. When we want copies of the book, how much do you charge? Again, Alin, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You get our print cost. We don't make any money printing books. So it depends on how long your book is, if it's got color in the inside or black and white. So, I mean, we have advisors who are paying $4, $5 a book. It's not much. Again, the goal isn't to make money selling books. It's to get that book in as many hands as possible to generate as much business as possible. What topics could our books be? So, for example, we got generic, like navigating life transitions. We got specific. So this is a financial guide to divorce. She's a certified CDFA, a divorce financial analyst. She just wants divorce people. So she interviewed divorce attorneys and marriage counselors and stuff like that. This is specifically on estate planning. Estate planning experts Atlanta. Less creative title. But he interviewed estate planning attorneys and nursing home directors and stuff like that. Again, this is Lori's interviews. For whatever reason, Lori was one of the best Oprahs we've ever had, and hers is 268 pages. Yours doesn't have to be that long. We actually had to cut down the interviews from Lori's book. She was really good at getting people to talk. We'll train you and we'll do practice interviews with you, but for some reason, maybe it's because stereotypically she's a woman, she's a better talker, all the rest of the books except for Adrian's is longer too. You know what? She's a woman too. Huh. I wonder if women are better talkers. I'm sure they are. All my guys, all our books are shorter. We'll teach you, we'll practice with you. So that answers the what do we charge for book question. Again, it's marketdominationllc.com/Jeremiah to go grab your copy. Do you offer any other services for financial advisors besides the book program, John Martin? Thanks, John. Thanks for the layup. Thanks for the softball pitch. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely we do. So this is just one of the things we do. We do social media marketing that actually works. We generate leads online. So we built a lot of lead generation websites to generate specific leads for specific topics. So we've got a national website that generates life insurance leads, one that generates annuity leads. We drive the right consumers in your area to go to the site, register for the lead magnet we built for them, and then hand them over to you. So we do better seminar invitations and better seminars to get people to respond at a better rate and become clients at a better rate. So absolutely, we do other stuff. You charge it all up front or per month, Cal Reese. It is per month. It is $1,000 per month. If you wanted to prepay, we would give you a discount. So if you wanted to prepay all 6 months at once, I'd throw you an extra 10 to 20% off. Aylin, can you give examples of the cost for 100 to 500 books? Yes. Without knowing what the cost would be is why people may not offer in 24 hours. So you're saying you're trying to figure out all of the possible costs for the total project to make sure you make an educated decision, which I fully support and agree with, and is a good question. So 100 books, again, it's going to depend on how long your book is. But you're probably let's just say, to be conservative, it's $5 a book, And if you go up to 500, we can probably get it down to 3 or 4. It all depends. I mean, Lori's first edition of her book, she's got the longest book out of anybody. So we put everybody's, I'll show you, hang on. We put everybody's picture on their chapter. She originally wanted all their pictures in color. When they were all in color, to get a copy of the book, it was like $15, $17. It was insane. And we couldn't figure out why it was so much higher than all our other books, which all happened to be black and white. And one of my team, our graphic designer, said, I wonder if it's because the pictures are color. So we changed all the pictures to black and white, and then it dropped to like $6 a book. So again, it just depends. And I would advise black and white pictures. John, I'm in Erie County. How about you? Hey, you're nearby. All right, John, I can certainly give you a call. That may, depending on what you want, that may be an issue simply because Carmine and I are already here. And so is Adrian, who did divorce. So we'll talk. Other questions?
Hey, I just want to jump in here, Seth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Jeremiah, please.
Great. So, folks, thanks so much for the great engagement. We got lots of great questions coming in. There's one thing that I always notice, whether people have come to my webinars or live workshops or are my private clients, that stops people from executing on ideas is the time that it takes. And no doubt a lot of you have realized that, right? You come to these webinars, you get all excited, you get fired up, you close the webinar, you go back to business as normal. I just finished the process of writing a book. It took me 3 years. I didn't do it
you didn't hire us.
Yeah, I just want to tell you that, it took me 3 years. I put an incredible amount of concentration into it, a lot of thought. It took me longer than it should have. I'm really grateful for the process because now I've learned so much and it's become a bestseller in the process. But for those of you that want to follow in the footsteps of becoming best-selling authors, and you've got 2 of them on the line here, Seth himself, a multiple best-selling author, if you're thinking about this, if you're on the sidelines, think about this. What would it cost you if you don't do this? Like if you have the revenue and you know the ROI is there, where just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deals would pay for itself in a year, if all this book did was bring you in 1 monster deal in the course of a year, the whole thing would pay for itself. And what I love about Seth's process, because there's different ways to write a book. You can sit down, you can write it yourself, which is what I did. You can transcribe it, you can use the techniques that Seth used, or you can just have somebody do it for you. And here's what I want you to think about. How much are you worth per hour? Are you worth $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $200 an hour? If you're worth, I would say, at least $150 an hour, you should get people to do the things for you that you don't have time to do, because in most cases they'll do it faster, cheaper, and better than you will. Your goal is not really to become a marketing expert in the financial services field. It's to really continue to build your authority, your credibility, and your position in the market by being a best-selling author and by having these tapped-in referral sources. So as you know, I don't recommend a lot of people. Maybe over the course of the year, I might recommend 6 to 10 people to my tribe. Seth is one of the few that I do recommend. Number 1, he's a highly ethical guy. Number 2, him and I share very similar value systems about lifestyle, family, contribution, giving back. He's a philanthropist just as I am. And I've always checked up to make sure that Seth's stuff works, meaning does he take care of the people in our tribe? Does he nurture them? Does he help them where they have offers? And if it's not going to work out, does he offer a guarantee? And Seth has done all those things. So Seth has my highest recommendation. You really don't need that because you see all of the incredible testimonials, the photographs of everything that the people have done in their industry. And I personally recommend Seth in this program. I have people in my private clients who are using Seth just because that he gets it done for them. Of course, you can do it yourself, but if you're at all on the fence and this is what you've been looking for, to have this built-in network, imagine what your business could look like just 90 days from now, where you've got 10 attorneys or
90
CPAs.
days is too soon. Now, let's talk about the process since you brought it up. The first 30 days,
Okay.
you're going to think
Well, let
nothing
me
is
just
happening.
hold on before we get into that. I just want people to vision cast themselves 6 months in the future. You know, like
All right,
6 months, a
is
year
better.
from now.
6 months is more
what
realistic.
If you've got,
you're going to get them too excited, I'm not going to be able to deliver.
What if you got 10 sources of high quality introductions that are each just giving you one new referral every 2 months? 10 people each giving you a referral every 2 months. That's 60 referrals. And at an 80% close rate, which is the average, that's low end on referrals, but at an 80% close rate, you're looking at 40 to 50 deals come in the space of a year. And I'm just doing, I mean, what if you're terrible at it? What if you can't close referrals and you stink at closing? You got 20 new deals. Cut it in half again, you got 10 new deals. I'm sure that would more than pay for the cost of the investment. Seth, take us through the process and the timing so people know how that works.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a question we didn't. I got to put that in the slides for the next time I do this, next week. So that's an excellent point. So the first thing that's going to happen in the first 48 hours, you sign up, first 48 hours, you're going to get a phone call from your account rep. They're going to schedule your onboarding call if you're not like immediately available. And they're going to go through with you, hey, tell us about your practice. Why did you get into the business? What type of clients are you serving? What are you looking for? You know, do you want to be estate planning? Do you want to be life transitions? Do you want to be divorced? What do you want to do? They're going to help you work through that and help you identify, hey, do I want CPAs? Do I want attorneys? Do I want commercial mortgage brokers and commercial realtors if I'm going after business owners? Who do you want? Then the next month, next 3 weeks, you're going to think nothing's happening. I mean, they're going to stay in touch with you. But we'll be doing the research to go build that list of CPAs, attorneys, and whoever else you want. So then you'll approve a list at the end of that month, and we'll send out the multi-step, multimedia, direct response marketing campaign to get those folks to say yes. Now, you don't see that because, again, this is for compliance purposes. You don't have to send anything to them to approve because you haven't seen anything. It's like if you hire White Glove Seminars or whoever, or us, to go generate leads for you in one of our other programs. You have no knowledge of what we're doing to generate leads. Therefore, we're a separate company. Nothing gets approved by compliance. So you don't see that campaign. You just see the results. You just see your account rep in month 2 emailing you and calling you and saying, hey, these 5 attorneys said yes, call them, schedule the interview. So month 1 is all research, onboarding call, and then all research. Month 2, you're going to do interviews from like month 2 to month 4 or 5. You're going to do 1 a week, tends to work best for our advisors. Or if you wanted to cluster because you were traveling or something, you could do more than 1 in a week to get those interviews done sooner. So you're going to do 1 a week for a while. Every week after you do the interview, you're going to send us the file. We're going to transcribe it, edit, get it back to you. We're going to then say, you're then going to get it to the CPA or attorney and say, here's the transcript of our interview. Is there anything you did? Please review it. They're going to go over it, take stuff out, decide they want to change an answer to something, back and something like that. They're going to approve it or edit it and get it back to you, and you're going to get it back to us. And then months 5 and 6, if your interviews are all done, us publishing and marketing the book and planning the party. If your interviews aren't done, we'll be planning the party while you're finishing up. So yeah, first 90 days are not going to change your life. If you vision board, if you future pace yourself 6 months out, imagine the party. Imagine having 30 to 50 to, we have advisors who, have like 100 people coming to their party. Past performance, no guarantee of future success. Enter standard disclaimers here. But imagine the party. Imagine all of these people bringing people. Imagine seeing these people every month and getting referrals. That is a vision of where this will take you. So hopefully that addresses that comment that you made, which I'm very glad.
Yeah, great stuff, Seth. Good deal, and thanks for stepping that out with the timeline. So folks,
yeah, and like I said, if you're in a city that we can't serve or either already oversaturated or too small, we'll just cancel you and refund your money right away. Like I said, we learned the hard way with our guy in Fort Collins where we refunded. He had been in 4 months when we had to give up and throw in the towel, and we gave him all his money back and said, you know what, keep the relationships you've got with the 5 or 6 CPAs and attorneys we got you. We just can't get the rest to respond to finish the book. Here's your money back. So obviously that's why we don't do small towns anymore.
Yeah, great stuff. Seth, thanks so much for being on the call today. Everybody, thank you so much for investing the time. For those of you that are
Sean's got one more question.
Go ahead.
Remind me to go over interview question samples. Okay, so I'll give you a few because, again, I know we're running short on time. Okay, so sample interview questions. We always start with, how'd you get started? Why'd you become a CPA? Why'd you become a divorce attorney? Usually there's some inciting incident, for lack of a better term, in their life that got them to want to do that. So we always ask them how they got started. We ask them what kind of clients they serve. We ask them what are some of the biggest mistakes you see clients making that they come to you and need fixed. We ask them how they help people fix that problem, what their ideal client looks like. And one of my favorite questions is, what's their biggest challenge? Because that leads to future business for you, because if they say, I don't have time to take care of my own financial house because I'm so busy helping people. Or if they say, I'm having issues getting clients in my own business. Well, shoot, them being in the book is a great way to help them get more clients, and then there's more relationships that could happen. So those are 5 or 6 of our best questions. We have a couple-page script that you get to choose from when you go through. But thank you, Sean, for reminding me, and Jeremiah was wrapping up.
Yeah, so thanks again. It's always a pleasure to have you on board. And welcome to all of you who are stepping up and are going to be working with Seth. For those of you that have a copy of my book, Shift, or who are in the Insurance Marketing Club, we even have extra ideas which come from Seth and also from our other members on how you can market your book effectively. In little ways, you can even start getting deals even before your book is published. It's pretty amazing. We actually had a mastermind call this morning about it. So thank you so much, Seth, for being on here and for all the great work you do. Folks, thanks so much for being part of Shift Nation. Seth, any final words of wisdom?
No, I think we covered it all. I put my cell phone in the chat box if you've got questions. Just a disclaimer, I'm on the East Coast, and as you saw, I have 3 little kids who go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night. So if you do have questions, shoot me a text and ask if I'm available before you call. If I'm not, I'll give you a time you can call me back, and I'm happy to answer any questions again for the next 24 hours. We've got 8 slots left, first come, first serve, and then if we sell out those 8, I'll cancel the webinar I'm doing next week because we won't need to do it because it'll be sold out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.